So I thought this was interesting, right? As I make this video right now, the Philadelphia 76ers are beating the Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie Irving is playing. Kevin Durant is sitting this one out. And I bring this to you because I think it's important that we talk about this. I get paid to watch basketball. Let's be clear about that. I have a deal with a company. Essentially, I have a partnership with the NBA. So for me, no matter who's playing, I got to watch the game. That's my job. Right? That's my job. That's what I love to do. That's my job. But I have to be honest with you. I get so many texts and calls from friends who are like, hey, we know you work with the NBA. We know you cover this stuff night in, night out. Yo, why is so-and-so not playing? Like night to night, it's like something new. Why is Kawhi Leonard not playing? Why is Giannis hurt? Is LeBron coming back anytime soon? Is Harden playing tonight? Is KD playing tonight? Is Kyrie winning? It is ridiculous. And I want to be fair to some of these players. A lot of guys believe because the NBA is trying to get back on schedule, obviously COVID put a pause in the season last year and they had to finish in a bubble. Because COVID put a pause to the season last year, the NBA is rushing to get this thing done. They've cut down about 10, 15 games. But essentially, you're playing every other night. And that is probably as bad as it can get for an NBA schedule. They're trying to get back on schedule by next season. And to do that, you got to rush through the regular season and then kind of take your time in the postseason. But even that's going to be a stretch. Essentially, what Adam Silver and the league are doing, essentially, they're keeping them on the bubble schedule, which was pretty much every other day. But they're traveling. And they're human beings. And y'all know I've been the first to come on this platform and call out athletes for, to me, mistaking their blessing or not appreciating their blessing, which it is to be in the NBA. We're going to get into that more in a second. But I have to be fair and take up for the players in this regard. I do think it's ridiculous to keep the players on their bubble schedule when they're no longer in the bubble. Like in the bubble, you could just wake up and play ball. Practice, your body, your life was dedicated to basketball, literally. But life is life. Like these dudes, most of these dudes got kids. Like their families are around them, people that look to them for means. And obviously when you put in perspective the fact that they got to travel, like, all right, again, you're flying private, but travel is travel. There's only so much you can do to cut down flight times when you're going from LA to Atlanta on any given day, right? That's still a flight. I just think Adam Silver, to a degree, and I know he's been great to players in the league, I think he's treating them like a video game. Now, because I want to bring this full circle. With Adam Silver treating the league like a video game this year, it's pissing me off and it's turning me off. And again, I cover it, so I'm watching regardless. But I understand why fans are pissed. So, over the weekend, Kyrie Irving gets into it with Dennis Shroder. Apparently, this was about the N-word. Right? Apparently, Shroder called Kyrie Irving the N-word, as we often do in our community. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but we do use it. I use it as a term of endearment. Should we use it? Probably not. Kyrie Irving apparently didn't like it. He called out Dennis. They both ended up getting ejected with double technical fouls 2 times. Lakers ended up surprisingly beating Brooklyn. Okay? So after that, Kyrie Irving announces that he's going to miss the next game. He didn't make the trip to Minnesota. I'm like, what is that about? Like, yeah, why wouldn't you make the trip? Nothing was wrong with him. He just said he had personal reasons. And apparently, from what people are saying behind the scenes, it was because he needed some time following his ejection with Dennis Shroder over Dennis called him the N-word. Well, first off, Kyrie, just because you're there in a place where you don't like to be called the N-word, right? Like, you don't get to tell me where I'm at in my process. Now, again, that seemed like something that could have been relayed to Dennis Shroder after the game. Like, hey, I don't like being called that. To me, it didn't need to be what it was on the court. Like, you didn't have to handle that right there. Obviously, I'm sure Dennis didn't know Kyrie Irving didn't like being called the N-word. Right? Like, how was he supposed to know that? He's a competitor. They're not friends. They're going at it. Like, this ain't like Reggie White. We know in the NFL, there were guys who didn't even come Reggie White's way using profanity because they had the ultimate respect for him, but he was a minister, if I'm not mistaken, right? To me, that's different. It's profound, and it's announced how Reggie White liked and didn't like to be talked to. In Kyrie Irving's situation, it seems like he's transitioning to becoming a different version of himself. Like right now, in real time, we're watching Kyrie Irving mature and become whoever he's going to become, which to me seems to be a guy who's very caring about other people, but oftentimes contradicts himself in his actions. But again, it's his process. I'm not even knocking him for that. But look, Kyrie doesn't make the trip to Minnesota. That's bothersome to me. If I want to watch the Brooklyn Nets play basketball on a Monday, I'm trying to get ready for the playoffs as a fan. I'm trying to see, okay, KD's back. I want to see how Kyrie and KD play together. James Harden's on his way back soon. I want to see how these three gentlemen look before the playoffs. It's starting to look like the first time we're going to see these guys play 7 games straight will be in the playoffs, right? Or 7 games together will be the first round of the playoffs, or however long the first round takes. That's ridiculous to me. As a fan, how do you get into a product that you hadn't seen yet? Or in limited spurts? They played together a couple games, but then KD went down. And then Kyrie Irving missed some more time in March due to personal reasons. I believe that was for the birth of his child. I'm not even judging that. I get that. But when you miss time in January because of a Capitol Hill storming, a riot, then you miss time in March. You're the little boy who cried wolf at that point, and now you miss time in April because of personal reasons, apparently because of an argument with a guy on the court. All right? Like, it feels like Kyrie's kind of punishing us every time he sees fit. When something doesn't go right in his world, he punishes the fans. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right at all. But again, bring it back to how we started this conversation. If it's about scheduling and just the rigors of playing every other night, I feel like more players need to come out and say that. I feel like we need to have more conversations about this because the product that we're getting, like Giannis loves playing basketball. Like, go look at the games missed from Giannis Antetokounmpo since he became an all-star caliber player, which is in the last 4 or 5 years, right? Like, Giannis has missed only a handful of games. Giannis is even sitting out with rest. We know what Kawhi Leonard and Paul George do for the Clippers. They're taking off games. Most of them have been against bad teams, but they still taking off games. Like every 4 or 5 games, they're taking one off. How do I rev up? Or how, if I'm a fan, how do I plan to watch an ESPN game if I don't know of, like tonight, I'm watching, as I make this video, the Nets and the Sixers are finishing up here. Kevin Durant didn't play. Like, what if I would have planned to watch this game with my homies? Maybe we wanted to go to a bar. This ain't a great product. The Nets are getting blown out, as they should. They don't have 2 of their 3 best players. And I believe, and I don't want to put James Harden in this conversation because to be fair to him, he plays more times than not. I got to be fair to the bearded one. Harden, LeBron, and Giannis never cheat me as a fan of the game. And Westbrook. Those are my 4. Harden, LeBron, Giannis, and Westbrook. If they can play, they get out there and play. I feel like they've never left nothing on the table. As a fan of the game, I'm appreciative of them brothers and their gifts because they tried to play and show me. They tried to show me their gifts as a fan as much as they can. And I maybe want to throw Dame in that category. Dame plays more times than not as well. And I'm sure there are other names. And obviously I know injuries are a part of the game, right? But I'm looking at Brooklyn, right? If this were a playoff game, KD would be playing tonight. Not sure if Harden would be, but KD would be. And Kyrie would have played the other game. But it's just so ridiculous because, number one, the schedule is ridiculous. Number two, the players seem more privileged than ever. And then number three, something that I hadn't even mentioned yet, Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, and legends of the game, and fans of the game even, we've made it so the only thing that matters is rings. We've convinced players that the only thing that matters is rings, especially with limited fans and buildings. So they're taking the regular season off. It's just ridiculous, bro. Like, it really is bothersome. I don't know how you grow the product if more times than not guys are missing. It is literally hard to catch all the stars visible for a doubleheader on ESPN any given Wednesday or Friday night. Like, it's tough. Thursday night on TNT, you pretty much come in to watch Charles Barkley, Shaq, Kenny, and Ernie. That's the only guarantee you got. And hell, they've been gone for March Madness the last month. Man, it is tough to watch that product And when I see guys missing game as a fan who, first off, I think, man, you guys taking this thing for granted. Y'all make a lot of money. And then one thing that bothers me is like Kyrie Irving. I'm kind of venting here, but I want to get this off my chest. Kyrie Irving makes it like he's the working class man. Like he has a 9-to-5. He'll say like, yo, bro, I need time off like the next person. Well, Kai, fam, you make like $75,000, $85,000 a game. Do you understand what, like for 40 minutes, 48 minutes of action, Kyrie Irving makes like almost $100,000 a game. You go do the math. Like, fam, you can't compare yourself to the working class. I can't miss work whenever I want. You can't miss work whenever you want. Like, fam, like to compare yourself to us, Kai, we support you. We make we build that brand up. The fandom, the love, the ratings is what pays your contract, Kai. And other guys around the league that just continue to miss time. I can only imagine going to see the Brooklyn Nets play basketball this year live, right? And next year, right? Like, let's say next year, I want to go see Brooklyn. I don't care what city you're in. Even some of the worst markets in the league, Charlotte, Sacramento, wherever. It's going to take $250, $300 to get in. And if James Harden is actually hurt, all right, don't play, fam. KD actually hurt. All right, bro, don't do that tonight. You know, I want to see you in the playoffs. But if it's like, yo, if today were the playoffs, they would play. All right, fam, get out there and ball, bro. Like, give me something.